सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्. Namaste, dear all. A warm welcome to you for yet another session on Rudradhyaya, and it is a ninth session. And over to Vishwanath sir for the class.
Thank you. Namaste. प्रणमदमरलोकमौलिमाला कुसुमरजोरुणपादपद्मयुग्मम् अनवरतमनुस्मरेद्भवान्या सह जगतां पितरं पिनाकपाणिम् सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् ओङ्कारपञ्जरशुकीम् उपनिषदुद्यानकेलिकलकण्ठीम् आगमविपिनमयूरीम् आर्याम् अन्तर्विभावये गौरीम्. A warm welcome to everyone. So it's again a different location for me, and I'm joining in from a different location at a different time zone. So first and foremost, apologies for not being in the right attire. I just 40 minutes ago I just landed, and then I have to ensure that the class must go on. Therefore, you must excuse me for today for not being in the appropriate attire for Rudradhyaya. Apologies for that. We have been discussing the second Anuvakam, and 10 Yajus has been completed. Namo Mantrine Vanijaya Kakshanam Pataye Namaha. Until here we have concluded, we have completed, where the word Mantrine, Mantri, the word Mantri refers to the one who commands over 7 crore mantras. There are overall 7 crore mantras, Sapta Koti Mantraha. And he who is the Swami of all the 7 Koti mantras is called as Mantri. That's one thing. And the second thing is Gupta Bhashanam Mantra. Mantra means Gupta Bhashanam, to speak in very close quarters, to speak with utmost care is called as mantra. That's the reason why the council that happens, the council meeting that happens with the king was generally considered or generally called as mantra lochanam or mantram. It was referred as mantram because it is supposed to be very, very secretive. The contents of that mantra or that particular conversation or that particular discussion was not supposed to be revealed elsewhere. So generally the idea of the word mantra is that which is spoken in confidence is called as mantram. So when we talk about mantropadesha as well, the reason why it is called as mantropadesha is some people might get this question. The mantras, as we know, are already written there in some documents. So it's readily available. It's out there in the public. But how come it still requires mantropadesham? Because as long as it does not come from the Guru as part of the Gupta Bhashanam that the Guru does with the Shishya, it will not be considered as mantra. It can be a general Upadesha. See, for example, Dharmopadesha is there. See, so similarly, there could be hundreds of things that a Guru will tell in a generic sense, that all of these following things must be followed by each and every person. That is just merely an Upadesha. But when it comes to Mantropadesha, then there are certain degrees of Mantropadesha. There are certain mantras that are given in a larger scale. A large Mantropadesha is done. That depends on the sankalp of the Guru. But generally, when we talk about a mantra for Atmodhara, take for example Gayatri Upadesham. Observe how Gayatri Upadesham or Brahmopadesham happens. We invite 500 to 600 people for Brahmopadesham. 99% of them have got nothing to do with Brahmopadesham, to be very honest. Okay, it's just that we want to showcase we want to flex our financial muscle. That's all. We want to show how many people we know. That's all. Because for the Vatu, what matters the most is the Brahmopadesham that the Vatu is going to get. See that there is a reason why that Gayatri is called as Brahmopadesham, because Gayatri is Brahma. There is no difference between Gayatri and Brahma. We already are initiated into Brahma Marga. If we are initiated into Gayatri, you are already initiated into Brahma Marga. So that Gayatri Upadesham, Brahma Upadesham happens in secrecy. So they cover the father and son, the son is made to sit on the lap of father. It all looks very nice and adorable when the son is, say, for example, 7 or 8 years old. If they conduct a Upanayanam a day before the marriage, it looks very odd. So it is supposed to be done at such a young age. So they make him sit on the lap and they cover the entire space, and only in the right ear of the Vatu, the father actually gives the Upadesham. So why it is called as Upadesham, why it is called as mantra, is because it is Gupta Bhashanam. It is spoken very secretively. And where else do we hear the word Gupta Bhashanam? Gupta Bhashanam refers to Upanishads as well. Upanishad means Rahasyam. Therefore, Gupta Bhashanam is Rahasyam. Mantra means Upanishad. Therefore, when we say Namo Mantrine, we mean he who is the form of all Upanishads. So that is the idea when we say Namo Mantrine. And then Vanijaya. There are two meanings of the word Vanijaya as well. One is the meaning related to Vanik. Vanik means a businessman. How a businessman classifies, divides things, organizes things in a certain way. And see, that is the best part of visiting a provision store, isn't it? Everything is organized. You won't look at an unorganized thing is not called as a shop. It's not meant for business. You may do it in wholesale, but when it comes to retail, it has to be organized. So similarly, he who organizes everything in this creation is called as Vanijaya. Vanija, that is the meaning of the word Vanija. This is one meaning. Another meaning for the word Vanija is Vani. Vani means Vak. Okay. Vagvachakadi Swarupa Tasyam Vachyadi Swarupena Jataha. So he who becomes the subject of all the speech is called as Vanija. Vanyam Jayate. Vanyam Athva Vanim Vishayikritya Jayate. So he who becomes the subject of every speech. There is this theory that all words indicate or denote only Paramatma or Parabrahma. All words are indications of Parabrahma only. Because Aksharam Brahma Paramam, isn't it? That Varnamala, the Vistara, everything is Parabrahma only. So whatever the words that we speak, they are nothing but Parabrahma only. In that sense, when we say Vanija, what is the idea behind the word Vanija is, with all words, he who is subjected or he who is approached is called as Vanija. That's another meaning. Namo Mantrine Vanijaya and Kakshanam Pataye Namaha. So this Gulmadaya, the small bushes that we find in the forest area, the small bushes, the small things that exist in abundance in the forest, they are called as they are called as Kaksha. Okay, Gahanaha Desha, they are deep but not so deep. Like they could be caves, they could be bushes, they could be burrows. So these are different types of deeper areas, deeper spaces available in the forest. All the deeper spaces available in the forest are collectively called as Kaksha. And together, put together, Kakshanam Pataye Namaha. He is the one who is Adhipati of all these Kaksha. Now, interestingly, we might think that why are we discussing about, or why Bhagavan Parameshwara Rudra is addressed as Kakshanampati? What is it that we are going to gain by calling him Kakshanampati? When will it be useful for us? Is the question. See, it will all be useful for us during Vanaprastham. So when we actually proceed towards the Vanam, we need to understand and we need to stay unharmed, unhurt by various other forces that exist in the forest. At that point of time, we require Parameshwara, we require Rudra's presence. Now, the feminine version of this Rudra form that exists in the nature, or the natural variety of Rudra existing in feminine form, is quite evidently present is quite popular in the traditional scenario. So traditionally they call it as Chaudi, Durga, Chandi. There are certain areas that are guarded by these deities. They are called as guardian deities. Or if you extend it further, we will also hear this Grama Devata, the concept of Grama Devata. So why do we require the concept of Grama Devata? The concept of Grama Devata itself is a clear indication of the fact that certain places must be guarded and protected. And the deities that guard and protect, we worship them in the feminine form. But if you observe the masculine form of it, they are nothing but Rudra. They all have that Rudramsha in them. That is why this is called as Shatarudram. The reason why it is called as Shatarudram is there are so many devatas. Shatam Rudraha Asya Devataha. So therefore, Shatarudriyam, it all connects, and you just have to connect the dots. Now we move on to the 11th Yajus of the second Anuvaka. Namo Bhuvantaye Varivaskritaya Oshadhinam Pataye Namaha. Very beautiful. First word is Bhuvanti. The actual word is Bhuvanti. Parameshvara is referred, Rudra is called as Bhuvanti. What is Bhuvanti? Bhuvam Tanoti iti Bhuvanti. Okay. Tanoti. Tanu is a very peculiar dhatu in Sanskrit. Tanu means vistara. Tanu means thinning as well. Tanu can mean vistara. Tanu can mean thinning as well. So here it is used in the sense that he who exists or he who expands himself into everything is called as Bhuvanti. So, in the form of whatever the world or whatever the realm that we experience, it is nothing but the expansion of that Parameshwara. Hence, he is called as Bhuvanti. Bhuvam Tanoti. That is one meaning. Another simple meaning is Sarvada Sarvatra Bhavati iti Bhuvanti. This is how Bhattabhaskara defines him. Bhattabhaskara defines the word Bhuvanti as Sarvada Sarvatra Bhavati. He who exists everywhere at all times. Sarvada at all times. Sarvatra everywhere. He who exists. Bhavati iti Bhuvanti. And another meaning is Bhavati Vishwasmin Apadanatvena Satta Pradhanataya Vartate. This is a little bit more advanced description of the word Bhuvanti. He who remains undisturbed. See the concept of apadanam. It's a beautiful concept. One of the toughest karakas to understand and implement and apply in Samskrita Bhasha is apadana karakam. Panchami Vibhakti, basically. I should not call it as Panchami Vibhakti. It is basically apadana karakam. So, what is the definition of apadanam? Dhruvam apaye apadanam. Apaye sati. When there is a separation, when there is something that emerges. So, when that emergence happens, what remains intact, what remains sthiram, what remains dhruvam, what remains constant is called as apadanam. So Parameshwara remains as it is. He is not changing. He has not undergone any changes. He is nirvikara. We are calling Parameshwara as nirvikara because he is the apadanam. He is the apadana karanam for the world. The world may emerge and dissolve, but he does not emerge and dissolve. Therefore, in that sense, he is called as Bhuvanti. Therefore, Namo Bhuvantaye to that Parameshwara who is the apadanam for this entire realm. That's another meaning. Okay, so three meanings we have already observed for Bhuvanti. Namo Bhuvantaye. And then we have the next word, Varivaskritaya. This is very interesting. This is where most of us would like to call Parameshwara as Varivaskrita. Okay, what is Varivaskrita? Variva means dhanam, money, wealth. Okay, the word for wealth in Vedic Samskrita is Variva. Okay, Varivo dhanam. Okay, and then Tasya Karta. He who makes wealth, he who generates wealth, he who is responsible for creating wealth is called as Varivaskrit. Varivaskrit himself becomes Varivaskrit in Veda. In Vaidika Chandas, it becomes Varivaskrita. There is no difference between Varivaskrita and Varivaskrita. Only in Veda, not everywhere. Okay. So Varivaskrita means the creator, the generator of wealth. Namo Bhuvantaye Varivaskritaya. This is one meaning. Another word, another meaning for the word Variva is entirely different. Variva means he who does service is called as Variva. Paricharya. Variva means paricharya. Service is called as Variva. Very beautiful meaning. All sorts of service is called as Variva. And Asya Kartaraha Varivaskritaha. Those who serve are called as Varivaskritaha. Basically, the devotees, the bhaktas. All those who serve in their limited capacity. See, nobody has got unlimited capacity. Everybody has got a limited capacity to serve Paramatma. So, in whichever capacity we can serve Paramatma or Parameshwara, we will be considered as Varivaskrita. We are basically Varivaskrita. Okay. He who remains Varivaskriteshu Tishtati iti Varivaskritaha. Okay. The first word is Varivaskrit. Varivaskrit means he who does the seva. He who does the paricharya is called as Varivaskrit. So if you observe the plural form of it, it will be Varivaskritaha or Varivaskritaha. And Varivaskriteshu or Varivaskritsu Tishtati, he who remains in them. And there is this famous line that people keep saying, Naham vasami vaikunthe, kailase, etc., etc. Madbhakta yatra gayanti tatra vatsyami narada. It's a very famous line. So this the same thing, because this jiva, this is very interesting. I'm all of a sudden remembering all these things. No, we have this tradition during Dwadashi. I'm sorry, this is completely unrelated. It may seem like unrelated. See, the amount of foolishness, the ignorance that we have, जो पाल के रखा है हमने, is so strong that we think that Ekadashi means it's a Vaishnava Vratam. That's the kind of mistake that we have. Ekadashi means Vaishnava Vratam. No, it is not. Ekadashi is a Shaiva Vratam as well. It's not that only Vaishnavas should do Ekadashi, or if someone performs Ekadashi, it's not that your Shiva Bhakti will go away. Your Shiva Bhakti gets more strengthened if you do Ekadashi. Ekadashi is very, very important because there are several vratas that are mentioned in Shiva Puranam. So amongst them, the 10 vratas that Shiva Purana mentions, amongst them one is to do this, upavasa on Ekadashi. Ekadashi upavasa is a Shaiva vrata according to Shiva Purana. So forget about Shiva, Vishnu, all this Bheda Bhava, you forget about it. It's a vratam. And why I mentioned it is just to ensure that all of us are on the same page, that it is a vratam. Whether you are a Shaivite or a Vaishnavite, it doesn't matter, it is a vratam. Mandated vratam, one must perform it. Right. Traditionally, what we do on Dwadashi. Dwadashi is when we will have the Paranam. Paranam is to consume food immediately after sunrise. Not that we will be waiting only for food, not do any nitya karma, sandhya vandanam, nitya puja, nothing. No, Suryodaya, immediately eat. Not that is the idea. The idea is after performing all the nitya karma, immediately you take the bhojanam. In that, there is this, I don't know the English word for that, I'm so sorry, but there is this small seed that is generally used. Okay. I have forgotten the name in Kannada as well. That pardon me, because my mind is in 100 different places. So, but I remember what exactly my grandmother used to say about that. So they say that it is a small seed kind of thing, which usually in Orthodox families, if you observe, they will put it in agase soppu. Now, that is one leaf. Agase is one leaf that is generally used. Along with that, there is one more. And if anybody knows, please remind me. You're free to remind me. There is one more small kind of seed kind of thing that is used in Dwadashi Paranam. The idea behind it is, they say that when it reaches the chest, when it reaches this area, in Kannada we call this area as Gundige. Okay. So when it reaches this area, it starts speaking the name. It starts taking the name of Paramatma. Is what. See, it may sound like a grandmother cooked up story, but look what it has done to us. Look how it has held together an entire tradition. Now we have to stop ignoring all these kind of things, saying that all of these are myth, this is a concocted story. Even if it is a concocted story, if it is keeping us in the line, if it is making us disciplined, if it is ensuring that we are following the tradition, it is wonderful. Why I mentioned is, if a small element, if a small item that we consume can go inside us and start off the chanting of Paramatma, and here we are, Ishvara Sarvabhutanam Hriddeshe Arjuna Tishtati is what we believe in the Vedanta, school. In all the creatures, Paramatma exists. Paramatma is there in all the creatures. So that Paramatma is don't you think he will be existing in the people who actually serve Parameshwara? Of course, that is why he is called as Varivaskrita. Varivaskrita means he who exists in the people who serve him. Those who do his seva, Parameshwara always remains in them. See, that is the beauty of service. I know the word service, the way it has been projected, it is quite different. They consider it as something that can be easily done. Nothing is easy. Okay, the first element that we must keep in our mind is nothing is easy. Because even after, in the name of doing seva, there is a lot of chances, plenty of opportunity for us to get disturbed, distracted, think that I'm the supreme one. That kama krodha can creep in any time, any moment. So we have to be very, very careful. And when we understand that when we do seva, what happens is, forget about karma yoga, all those things, that fancy things that people tell you. The simplest thing to take home is, when we do seva, Paramatma gets cemented in us. Our connection with Paramatma gets cemented. What is the proof? Varivaskrita. Namo Bhuvantaye Varivaskrutaya. That's why Parameshwara is called as Varivaskrita. Okay, all right. The last word, Oshadhinam Pataye Namaha. So, in another word, in a simpler terms, Varivaskritaya means Bhakta Vatsalaya. See, the word Bhakta Vatsala is very easy to understand. Varivaskritaya is the Vedic way of saying that. Okay. Varivaskritaya Bhaktavatsalaya, he who is very benevolent. Because only with that compassion and benevolence, Parameshwara can stay in a Bhakta's heart. And then lastly, Oshadhinam Pataye. Oh, sorry. One more meaning is there for the word Varivaskrita. That is, Varini Vasaha Kritaha Yena Tasmai Varivaskritaya. He who dwells in water is called as Varivaskrita, because he has stayed in water. So we are addressing Varuna Rupaya, Vishnu Rupaya, Rudraya Namaha is the meaning. Because he is Varuna. There is no room for Dvaitam. No room for Dvaitam. That Varuna is different, Rudra is different. Only idiots think like that. Everything is Rudra. You go throughout Rudradhyaya, you find that the entire creation is nothing but Rudra. Okay, that is the central theme, that is the core idea. Anyway, so that is another meaning of the word Varivaskrita. Varini, Vari is a Samskrita word. Most of you who have learned Samskrita language, Ikarantaha, Napumsakalingaha, Vari Shabdaha, Vari Varini, Varini. Very famous. Bachpan ka yaad aa gaya. So that's how we used to memorize as well. Vari Varini, Varini, He Vare, He Vari, He Varini, He Varini, Vari Varini, Varini. So similarly, just like that, Varini, Varini Saptami Vibhakti. Varini Krito Vasaha. He who remains, he who stays, he who dwells in the water, in all water bodies, is called as Varivaskrita. It could be Varuna, it could be Vishnu. Okay, Varivaskritaya. And then Oshadhinam Pataye Namaha. Oshadhi, we don't have to talk much. We know what Oshadhi is. Wherever it is available, whether it is available in the grama, I mean villages or cities, whether it is available in the aranya, gramyanam aranyanancha namaha. He is the adhipati of all the oshadhis. If the oshadhis, If all the sasyas, if all the plants, if they have to give any sort of, if they have to possess any sort of ability, then it comes from Parameshwara. That's why he is called as Somaya Namaha. He himself is Soma because he is Somatma. Because Chandra is generally considered as Oshadhishaha. But here we are calling him as Oshadhinam Pataye Namaha. So Chandra is not different from Parameshwara. Parameshwara himself is attributed as Chandra, is the understanding. So that concludes the 11th Yajus. Namo Bhuvantaye Varivaskritaye Oshadhinam Pataye Namaha. And then the last one is, oh sorry, the last but one, the penultimate one is Nama Uchair Ghoshaya Akrandayate Pattinam Pataye Namaha. Okay. Oh, this is my personal favorite. Okay. Nama Uchair Ghoshaya. Uchair Ghoshaya means during the Yuddha, when the Yuddha happens, he who makes loudest sound is called as Uchair Ghosha. Okay. Ghosha means to make sound. Uchair Ghoshaya means he who makes the loudest sound. It's called as Uchair Ghoshaya. Um, Another word is Uchair Ghoshaha, refers to Megha, refers to clouds. He who is atop all the clouds is called as Uchair Ghosha as well. Therefore, Uchair Ghoshaya means he who makes the loudest sound or he who sits atop all the clouds. Both meanings are there. So, Uchair Ghoshaya. And then comes Akrandayate. He who makes the enemies suffer and cry. Akrandayita. He who makes them weep is called as Akrandayan. Okay, Akrandayat, Akrandayate. Then it becomes Akrandayate. Okay. Akrandanam yuddhe samahvanam tasya karayitre. So he who makes Shatrunamba sarvato rodayitre, Bhattabhaskara writes it. Bhattabhaskara writes as, he who makes the opposition, the rivals, the enemies cry. Yeah, he is called as Akrandayate. Nama Uchayur Ghoshaya Akrandayate. And then he is the Adhipati of Pattinam Pataye Namaha. What is Patti? Okay. Whether it is Abhinava Shankara or it is a Sayana, both of them write Patti as Padacharino Yodhaha. The Padataya, foot soldiers, is how they have defined. But that is okayish. Okay, to be honest, Patti refers to a unit. एक टुकड़ी आर्मी की भाषा में कहूँ तो एक टुकड़ी को a troop, a unit is called as patti. I'll give you the description of what all things are consisting in one patti. One patti is equal to eko ratha. There should be one chariot. Gajaschaikah, one elephant. Naraf pancha padatayah. There should be 5 foot soldiers. Trayascha turagaha. There should be 3 horses. Including all of this unit is called as Tajnihi Pattirithyabhidhiyate. This is called as Patti. Okay. 1 chariot, 1 elephant, 5 foot soldiers, and 3 horses. Okay. Put together 5 plus 3, 8, 9, and 10. That's it. The unit of these 10 collectively is called as Patti. So there will be several Pattis. So Pattinam Pataye Namaha, he who is the commander of all these Pattis. So basically, Parameshwara in the second Anuvaka, from in the first as well as in the second Anuvaka, he is being called upon as the Senadhipati. Okay, the original Senadhipati, the original commander in chief of the army. Okay. See, only the commander in chief can give rise to a proper commander in chief. Yeah, if there is no Vishwanatha, sorry, yeah, I have to take this moment. I'm very sorry for that. If there is no Vishwanatha, there can be no Guha either, isn't it? See, I have 2 commanders in my name. Yeah. So, Shanmukha or Subramanya is considered as Devasena Adhipati. So when that Tarakasura Samhara had to happen, why did Devatas approach Parameshwara? Because the original ability to lead the army, to command the army existed with Parameshwara. Hence, they sought that Parameshwara could give rise to, because he was completely aloof. He had completely given up everything. He was in Paramasamadhi. So therefore, they asked that if you can just give us one Senadhipati, we will not disturb you anymore. So that's how, Shanmukha. So you can see the connection there. Throughout Rudradhyaya, we will find Senapataye, Senanye Namaha. In the previous mantra as well, Senanye, in the first Anuvaka, the word Senani. Directly, the word Senani has been used for Parameshwara. In the popular culture, the word Senani is associated with Shanmukha, with Muruga, Subramanya. The word Senani is directly used with Subramanya. Whereas the Veda, in Rudradhyaya, the word Senani is used for Parameshwara. Okay, all right. Namaha Uchair Ghoshaya Akrandayate Pattinam Pataye Namaha. And then the last yajus, Namaha Kritsnavitaya Dhavate Satwanam Pataye Namaha. Kritsnavitaya. Kritsnam Shariram. Vitam means achalitam. Okay. He who covers this entire body. See, covering entire body is he who is the consciousness, the Atma. Apnoti. Apnoti sarvam iti Atma. He who captures everything is Atma. So, Atmane Namaha. So, Kritsnavita means he who has captured the whole creation, not just the body. Kritsnam va jagadvitam. Another meaning for the word vitam is bhakshitam. He who dissolves all the creation at the end is called as Kritsnavita. So, Namah Kritsnavitaya. Because in the end of Upanishads, Parameshwara is addressed as Tasmai Upasamhartre Mahagrasaya Vai Namo Namaha. He is Mahagrasa. Mahagrasa means he who dissolves everything, he who consumes everything at the end. Mahasamharaya. Now, Prapancha Samharaka Tandavaya Namaha, one of the namavalis of Paramatma. Okay. Prapancha Samharaka Tandavaya. Shankara Bhagavad in Ardhanarishwara Stotram. Okay. Prapancha Srushtyunmukha Lasyakagi Samasta Samharaka Tandavaya. Namah Shivaya cha Namah Shivaya. That is why Shankara Bhagavad is Shankara Bhagavad. Look at the accuracy. The Vedokta terms, how beautifully incorporated in Stotra. All of us can chant the Stotra. It is accessible to all of us. So beautifully has captured that idea. See, when Bhagavati performs her lasyam, it is for prapancha srushtyun mukhalasya kagi. It is for the srishti, it is for the beginning of the srishti. But when Parameshwara does his tandavam, samasta samharaka tandavaya, to dissolve everything. Okay, the tandavam is done to dissolve everything. So that is the whole idea. All right. Now, then another meaning for the word Kritsnavita is Vite means Nashte. Vita means to be eliminated. So Nashte Jagati, when all of this is gone, that which remains, that which is the only thing that remains is called as Kritsnavita. Okay. Kritsnam means only one. So Vite Kritsnam Kritsnavitam. So he is Kritsnavitaya. Okay. The one who remains when everything is gone. Nasan Nachasan Chiva Eva Kevalaha. Another popular line. Nasan Nachasan. Nasat Nacha Asat. It is not that it is existing, not that it is not existing. Nacha Sat, Nacha Asat. And what is it? Kevala Shiva. Shiva Eva Kevalaha. That is how it has been described. So he is the one who remains at the end. All right. This was about Namah Kritsnavitaya. And then Dhavate. Dhavate means, I have got only one word, and it is so easy to explain this in Kannada, I tell you. Attuskondu hogadu in Kannada. One word. Okay. To chase away. He who chases away the enemies is called as Dhavate. Uh, okay. So when it comes to enemies, sorry. when it comes to enemies, in the previous mantra, in the previous yajus, we saw that he is akrandayate. He makes them cry. He makes them weep. And he doesn't leave them there. He chases them away. So dhavate. That is why he creates the terror in them so that they will run. And he runs behind them, ensures that they are all completely gone. Dhavate. And then lastly, Satwanam Pataye Namaha. Now, Satvanaha. Satvanaha means Satvikaha. Those who have Parishuddha Sattvam. Okay, Vishuddha Sattvam. Those who have reached that Sattvam, or in other words, in purely technical terms, if I have to say, because this technical term might be quite familiar to most of you, Sattva Shuddhi or Chitta Shuddhi. Those who have Sattva Shuddhi or Chitta Shuddhi, they are called as Sattvanaha. Okay. Sattvanam Pataye Namaha. He is the Adhipati of all those who have Chitta Shuddhi. It means when we say he is the Adhipati, it means that he takes care of them. That is the whole meaning of the word Adhipati, isn't it? नाम के वास्ते कोई अधिपति नहीं बनता है. If he is being called as Adhipati, it means that he is supposed to take care of them, or he takes care of them. That's why he is called as Adhipati. So that concludes the second Anuvaka. I am very happy. Namah Kritsnavitaya Dhavate Sattvanam Pataye Namaha. So one interesting, assignment, if you would like it, is to observe the last lines of all the yajus. Very quickly, if we start observing from the top, okay, Dishancha Pataye Namaha. First one, Namo Hiranyabahave Senanye, Dishancha Pataye Namaha, Disham Pataye Namaha. In the second one, it was Pashunam Pataye Namaha. Okay. Third, Pathinam Pataye Namaha. And then Annanam Pataye Namaha. Pushtanam Pataye Namaha. Jagatam Pataye Namaha. Kshetranam Pataye Namaha. Vanamaha. Vrikshanam Pataye Namaha. Kakshanam Pataye Namaha. Oshadhinam Pataye Namaha. Pattinam Pataye Namaha. Sattvanam Pataye Namaha. Sattvanam Pataye Namaha. So all 13 have been separated, and all of them indicate a certain dravya. They are in the form of a certain element. So dravyadhipatitvam of Rudra is established in the second Anuvaka. Namo Hiranyabahave to Sattvanam Dhavate Sattvanam Pataye Namaha. This Anuvaka describes Parameshwara's Dravyadhipatyam. Dravya is, every element is Dravya. And if you go in the route of Nyaya Shastra or Tarka Shastra, they say Prithivyapastejo Vayuvakashakaladhigatma Manam Sinavaiva. These are the Dravyas. So everything that exists is Dravya. So he is the Adhipati of all that exists. Now, before we begin the second Anuvaka, I would like to seek if there are any questions that exist at this point of time related to second Anuvaka. Namo Hiranyabahave to Sattvanam Pataye Namaha. I want each and every one of you to be very, very clear about every single word that has been used. I have ensured that not a single meaning is missed out. It's not that I've brushed it off. Each and every meaning of word has been told, not one, but sometimes 2, 3, 4, 5 meanings have been told for one word. So it's quite extensive. So hopefully it has all made some impact. So what we will do is we will give some time for that to settle down, for you to come up with questions. So we will move on to the next Anuvaka, the third Anuvaka, Namasahamanaya. This one is going to be quite controversial for many people. Okay, because this is where you will find all different types of thieves. Okay, varieties of thieves. Robbers are found here. So it will be interesting to see. Okay, let us start with Namasahamanaya Nivyadhine Avyadhininam Pataye Namaha. Sahamanaha. He who defeats the enemies is called as Sahamanaha. Shatrun Abhibhavati. Abhibhavati means defeats. He who triumphs over the Shatrus. He who defeats the enemies is called as Sahamana. So Sahamanaya Namaha. And then Nivyadhine Namaha. There is another beautiful, sorry, before we go to Nivyadhine Namaha, Bhatta Bhaskara writes a very brilliant line. Now, this is the power of tradition, I tell you. Even when they make such kind of statements, it resonates through ages. It remains for a long time. So he writes for Sahamanaya, he says, Sva Vyatiriktam Sarvam Abhibhavati. He who defeats everything that is not it. Yeah. Apart from him, whatever is there, it is defeated. So what does it mean? It means that there is nothing else. So it's another way of saying that it is Advaitam. How else will you tell that it is Advaitam? Shivam is Advaitam. How else will you tell that? You'll tell that he is Sahamana. Sahamana means, there is no second to that. There is nobody equivalent to that because he has defeated everything apart from him. Yes, Rajivji, go on, go on.
Could you please repeat what you said just in the last few minutes, especially the Sanskrit part, so that I can take. That was too fast for me. Yes,
Shatrun Abhibhavati. Shatrun Abhibhavati, he who defeats the Shatrus, he who defeats the enemies, is called as Sahamana. And that is the original meaning given for the word. And the another interpretation given is Sva Vyatiriktam Sarvam Abhibhavati. That which is different from itself, everything or anything that may seem different from itself will be defeated. There is nothing that is different from him. Everything is one. Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma. Isn't it? So Sva Vyatiriktam Sarvam Abhibhavati. Therefore, he is Sahamana. So for every Pavamana, there is Sahamana. Okay, that was too much. Okay. All right. Those who have heard that, Padam, Pad, okay, then you will understand. Okay. Then we move on to the next word, Nivyadhine. This is what happens when there is no leash on me. Yeah. You give me a free hand and yeah. I come with all guns blazing. And there is a very popular song which keeps on, repeatedly being told. Okay, from the Dvaitavadins. Okay. They very clearly they mention there is two entities. There is no two entities. There is only one entity because the meaning is Sarvam Abhibhavati. He who defeats everything. So once you defeat everything, isn't it obvious that only one thing remains at the end? If there is anything else, it means that he has not defeated. If he has not been able to defeat any other entity, then how come he will be called as Sahamana? The very word that Veda is calling Parameshwara as Sahamana is an indication of Advaita. It's not about Rudra, it's not about Shiva or Vishnu. It's about being only one Tattva. That's it. Okay, Namas Sahamanaya and then Nivyadhine. The meaning of the word Nivyadhine is Nitaram Vidhyati iti Nivyadhi. Nitaram means guaranteed, and with 100% guarantee. Vidhyati. Vidhyati means to hit. Tadayati. Enemies. Ityartha. He who guaranteed, he who delivers a guaranteed hitting to enemies is called as Nivyadhi. Means that उनका लक्ष्य कभी फिसलता नहीं है. He is always on the mark. He never misses the target. That is why he is Nivyadhin. Namas Sahamanaya Nivyadhine. And then Avyadhininam Pataye Namaha. Asamantad Vidhyanti iti Avyadhinyah. Shurasenaha. The Sena, the army that is equally capable of hitting the targets is called as Shura Sena, is called as Avyadhini. The one word that is used in the Veda for the Sena, for the army that also is well trained in eliminating targets is called as Avyadhini. And Parameshwara is Avyadhininam Pataye Namaha. He is the commander, he is the lord of all those senas. Okay, namas sahamanaya nivyadhine avyadhininam pataye namaha. Abhimukhena sarvato. Yeah, that's it. Now, अनपराधानपि अभक्तान् नितरां विद्यते iti bhavaha. This is one statement made by Bhattabhaskara. See, today in the third Anuvaka, we are going to take Bhattabhaskara and all the Bhashyakaras to task, critically analyzing them, because most of them have failed to capture the actual idea many places. Some of them have just given some hints and dropped it there. For example, he says, Anaparadhanapi abhaktan, those who are not bhaktas, those who have not showed any devotion, even them, nitaram vidyate, he punishes them without fail, is one meaning given for the word nivyadhine by Bhattabhaskara, which is not bad. I mean, it is a far-fetched meaning. So what he means is nitaram vidyati is he who doesn't leave any jiva behind, is the idea here. So no man left behind or no jiva left behind. So every single one will find a path. So you remember the discussion that we had about Tantra Marga in the previous lecture. That Tantra Marga is, even though it may required, it is as part of the punishment it is required. He will ensure that they will go through that punishment and then they come back to Vaidika Marga. So similarly, when we say Nivyadhine, nobody misses out on Paramanugraha or Parameshwara Anugraha, which is a very, very important point to focus. Okay. Of course, I agree that he has said that those who are, those who have Sattva Shuddhi, those who have Chitta Shuddhi, those people I will, those who are bhaktas, I will protect them. Yes, of course. But there is also a plan devised by Paramatma to make abhaktas bhaktas. He has that plan. That is why he is Nivyadhin. He doesn't miss his target. If someone is going through a little bit of hardship, if someone is going through a rough phase, it means that हमको भगवान सही कर रहा है. That's all. हमको सही रास्ता दिखाने के लिए कभी कभी मारपीट करना पड़ता है. Okay. So it's like, because we have gone away from this classic idea of sculpting. We think that sculpting happens in a 3D format nowadays. We draw some image and put it to some 3D printer and a sculpture comes out. That is our current understanding of sculpture. But you know how actually sculpting is done. If you go and stand in front of a rock and praise that rock, or accommodate the thoughts, sentiments, feelings that the rock has, do you think any sculptor can sculpt a rock into a beautiful image or a beautiful idol? It's not possible. You have to take a chisel and they have to beat it down. That's how a sculpture is done. And we were all fortunately raised like that. But unfortunately, the next generation is not raised like that. So they don't get this idea. So it's very easy for us to connect when we say Nivyadhine. Oh, okay. So there is nobody amongst us in this class. There is none of us who will feel bad when we hear these lines, that if we are going through a rough phase, it is only that Paramatma is bringing us back to the main fold. We agree. We understand. We sense that. We believe that. We have faith in that, and we keep moving. You try and say the same words, you try and speak the same words with the next generation. Sunenge nahi. This is bogus, this is nonsense, this is rubbish, is how they will think. That's because they have not been sculpted properly. They are, 3D models. 3D models are like that. There is no stuff inside. They look fancy. No power inside. Therefore, Nivyadhine is another meaning for that. And then, of course, Avyadhininam Pataye Namaha. Then, Namah Kakubhaya Nishangine Stenanam Pataye Namaha. This is where curiousness begins. Stenanam Patihi. Okay. General meaning of the word stena is a robber, a thief. Okay, we will see what kind of thief. Right. Kakubha sadrishaya. Kakubha means, if you have observed the Indian desi cows, they will have this upper portion on their neck that is called as kakut. Basically, that is kakut. It is the important. It shows the importance. Therefore, he is kakubha. Namah kakubhaya. Kakubhaya means pradhanaya. Okay. Another meaning for the word kakubhaya is pradhanaya uchritaya vrishabhasya va kakudibhati. He who sits atop that vrishabha is also called as kakubhaya. Okay, so basically pradhana is the meaning, the chief. Namah kakubhaya. And then nishangine. See, the word nishanga is used twice immediately after this mantra. Namah kakubhaya, namah kakubhaya nishangine stena nam pataye namo namo nishangina ishudhimate. See, there also the word nishangine appears. So namo nishangine twice. So what is the meaning of the word nishangi here? Khadga hastaya ityartha. Okay, he who is holding the nishanga. Nishanga means a sword. He who is capable of fighting with the sword is called as nishangine. He who is wielding the sword is called as nishangi. Nishangaha asya asti iti nishangi. Nishangine, to whom, to that Paramatma who is wielding sword. Nishangine. Namah kakubhaya nishangine. Stenanam pataye namaha. Stenaha guptachoraha. Stena means guptachora. Secret stealers. Okay, those who steal in secret. Okay, there are two types of choras, two types of robbers. One is daylight robbery. Uh, Another one is stealing in stealth mode, or stealing in disguise, without letting them know. That is why they are called as gupta chora, prachanna vapushaha. He writes, stenaha means choraha, stealers, robbers, thieves. Prachanna vapushaha yepa hartaraha. Prachanna vapusha, they disguise themselves. No, basically mask and everything. They disguise themselves and steal. Those who disguise themselves and steal, they are called as stenaha. And he is stenanam pataye namaha. And we'll go through this entire Anuvakam, and at the end I will tell you how exactly the words stena, vanchana, parivanchana, uh, all these words have to be understood. At this point of time, you just have to understand the literal meaning of these words, the actual meaning of the primary meaning of these words. Then, Namo Nishangine Ishudhimate Taskaranam Pataye Namaha. It was Stenanam Pataye, now it is Taskaranam Pataye. What is the difference between Stena and Taskara? Only in Sanskrita you can get this difference. No other language has got this much of a range where varieties of stealers, varieties of thieves and robbers have been given different names because of the way they conduct their business. Okay, let's see. Namo Nishangine. Here, this is beautiful. Nishangine means, there are two meanings that are written here. One is by Sahinacharya. Sahinacharya writes that Dhanushi sandhatum haste dhrito banaha nishangaha. The word nishanga here does not mean khadga. In the previous part, namah kakubhaya nishangine, there nishanga meant a sword. Here, namo nishangine ishudhimate, the word nishangine does not mean a sword. Here nishanga means a bana, an arrow that has been already removed from the box, removed from the arsenal, and has been made ready to put it to bow. That is called as nishanga. Okay, you have to be very careful. That it's a technical meaning. Nishanga is when you have already taken the bow, when you have already taken an arrow out of the arsenal and you have readied it to put it to bow. You haven't yet put it, but you are about to put that into the bow. That's when that arrow will be called as nishanga. So namo nishangine means he who has a readied arrow. That is one meaning. Another meaning of the word nishangine is bhakteshu nirantaram saktimate. He who is always invested in bhaktas, in devotees, is called as Nishangi. Nitaram Sakti. Sakti means Asakti, interest. He who takes utmost care, utmost interest in all the bhaktas, he is called as Nishangi. Namo Nishangine. And then Ishudhi Mate. Ishudhi is Battalike. In Kannada, we call it as Battalike. Basically, the arsenal where we store the weapons. Okay. So he is not only has taken an arrow, but he also possesses an arsenal with him. Therefore, Namo Nishangine Ishudhi Mate. And then comes Taskaranam Pataye Namaha. See, previously Stena. Stena means Prachanna Choraha. Those who steal with disguise. Gupta Choraha. Okay. Now, when we call Taskara, Taskara means Prakata Choraha. There are two types of choras. Prachanna Choraha, Prakata Choraha. Prachanna Choraha are those who use disguise and steal. Prakata Choraha are those who reveal their identity and steal. Okay. So, Vanadishu Tishtantah ye pratyaksham haranti sarthapaharakadaistaskaraha. This is how the word taskara has been defined. Okay. Vanadishu ye tishtanti. They usually dwell in forests. And the people who move through that forest, they will stop them, they will rob them. And they will not hesitate to reveal themselves. Who will catch hold of them? Therefore, they are prakatachoraha, they are called as taskaras. And then you have stenas, who are prachannachoras. Okay, two. All right, we move on to the next one. Namo vanchate parivanchate stayunam pataye namaha. Namo vanchate. I have to tell you the meaning of the word Vanchanam. Sayana Bhashya. Brilliant. Sayana is in a different level. The commentator Sayana is in a completely different level. You can sense when you read through his commentary. He was almost like in a flat. Like many a times this happens, when you observe, you are in a group and some music is being played and you are not that fond of the music that is being played, so you keep a very mild tone, you keep yourself very calm and composed, and all of a sudden your favorite song comes up and you jump out of your place. That's how it seems in this Anuvaka. Sayanacharya has got he's out of he's jumping out of his chair basically. It's an expression, okay? It's an expression. So you feel, you can sense that enthusiasm in Sayana's words. So generally what happens is when you compare and when you comparatively read these two commentaries of Bhatta Bhaskara and Sayanacharya, Sayanacharya's commentaries are very less in size and Bhatta Bhaskara's are very lengthy. Only in this Anuvaka, the role is reversed. Sayanacharya writes too many things, whereas Bhatta Bhaskara keeps it very precise. So it happens. It happens to the best of them. Okay, right. So let us see what is Vanchanam. We have heard the word Vanchanam. Okay, this is not a new word for us. What is Vanchanam? Swaminaha apto bhutva. Getting closer to the Swami, getting closer to the owner. Tadiya kraya vikrayadi vyavahareshu. And in all his interactions and businesses, yatra kvapi yatkinchit dravyapaharaha. Somewhere, some sort of stealing is done in those interactions. That is called as vanchanam. So you should be very careful when you have to use the word vanchanam. Okay. Okay. Vanchanam is when you befriend the master and observe all the interactions and businesses conducted by them. And in between, somewhere, you take something out from their business. That is called as a vanchanam. Namo vanchate. He who does that kind of vanchanam, pranamas to him. As I said, I'm just keeping you on the cliff because I'm not telling you what each and every word actually means. What is the idea of this vanchanam, steya, all these kind of things. We will discuss that at the end of this anuvaka. And then parivanchanam. What is parivanchanam? You already have heard vanchanam. What is parivanchanam? Sarveshvapi vyavahareshu apannhavah parivanchanam. Sarveshvapi vyavahareshu. In all the interactions. So vanchanam is waiting for an opportunity and deceiving them. and cheating them. That is Vanchanam. Parivanchanam is cheating them in each and every interaction. That's it. Sarveshvapi vyavahareshu apannavaha parivanchanam. And they conceal themselves and they keep on cheating in each and every transaction, in each and every interaction. That is parivanchanam. Vanchanam is waiting for an opportunity. So that is the difference between namo vanchate, parivanchate namaha. Brilliant. And then Sayanacharya describes that he classifies Gupta Chora or Prachanna Chora that we saw. Stena Pataye Namaha. First one. Namah Kubhaya Nishangane Stena Pataye Namaha. In the word Stena, we understood that Stena means Prachanna Chora or Gupta Chora. That Gupta Choras are of two types. Dura Dagatya. So they come from a very far away place. Ratro Ajnata Santaha. They remain unknown during the night. And Kapatodghatanena. Kapatodghatan means, opening the treasury. Okay. Unlocking the treasury. They come from far away place, they stay the night and unlock the treasure. Ye dravyapahartaraha, those who steal the dravya, those who steal the wealth, they are called as stenaha. Okay, this is first variety of Gupta Chora. Second one is Swakiyaha eva bhutva, to do an internship, to do an apprenticeship with them, to remain in their house, to remain in their place, to stay with them, and then Ratra Vanhiva Anyi Rajnataha, whether it is during the day or during the night, waiting for the right opportunity, Apahartaraha, those who steal away the wealth, they are called as Stayavaha. They are the ones who are being praised here. Stayunam Pataye Namaha. Okay. Namo Vanchate Parivanchate Stayunam Pataye Namaha. Stayu means this. Okay. Very interesting. They stay with you, they befriend you, they remain with you, and when nobody is there, they steal and they vanish. It is Stayunam Pataye Namaha. Oh, very, very beautiful. Chadmacharinaha. And yeah, another one for Vanchate is Vipralambha. Vanchanam also means Vipralambha, separation. Okay. So Vipralambha Karine Namaha, he who creates that separation. Namaskaras to that Rudra who creates separation. Separation is important. Vipralambha is when Shringare Vipralambhakhe Karune cha Prakarshavat Madhurya Mardratam Yati Yatastat Radhikam Manaha Dhunikara, Dhunyaloka. Anandavardhana says this line. Okay. He says that there are only two rasas that are at the topmost level. We think Shringara should be at the top level. Yes, you are right. But not the kind of Shringara that you think. Now, Shringara is classified into two, Sambhoga Shringara and Vipralambha Shringara. Sambhoga Shringara is very mediocre. That's why none of the poets actually go ahead and describe Sambhoga Shringara. If you are going to be an expert in Shringara, your expertise in Shringara is known only if you can describe Vipralambha. Vipralambha is separation. Separation can happen by 5 reasons. I don't want to give all the details out today. Okay. But this separation happening, it increases that yearning, that longingness that they have for one another. This is described in Natya Shastra or Kavya Shastra. The same thing here as well. When he says that he is the Vipralambhakari, Vanchate. Namo Vanchate, when we say Namo Vanchate, that Vanchanam is he who increases this sort of, Vipralambha, this sort of separation. Okay. And Parivanchate is Parita Sarvatra Gacchate Vipralambham Kuruvan Kochidapi na Pratihanyate. So he who always creates this separation is called as Parivanchanam. He who creates Vanchanam, he who creates that Vipralambha separation once in a while is Vanchanam. So this is a different interpretation given by Bhatta Bhaskara. And then Stayunam Pataye, Stayu we have already understood. Then we move on to the next one. Namo Nicherave Paricharaya Aranyanam Pataye Namaha. What is Nicheru? Okay, another brilliant word. Again, Sayana eva Sharana, Sayana Sharanam. Okay, Swami Sharanam, Sayana Sharanam. This time, brilliant commentary. He says, see, Swami Grihe eva, to remain in the master's house. Kada apaharishyami iti. When will I actually steal things? Anaya buddhya. So with this mindset, all that he has in his mind, every single moment that is running on his mind is, when shall I steal from this place? Okay. Anaya buddhya savadhanaha. And he waits, patiently waits. Savadhanaha. Nirantaram charanashilaha. He keeps on wandering continuously. He is called as Nicheruhu. Namo Nicherave. Paricharaya, Namo Nicherave. Nicherava. Nicheru means this one. Okay. Guru Shabda. But Nicheru is like just like Guru Shabda. Guru Guravaha Gurave. Nicheru Nicheru Nicheravaha Nicherave. Namo Nicherave. Then Paricharaya. Parichara means Paricharaka is different. Paricharaka means a servant, a proper servant. Okay, especially he who prepares everything for puja, etc., is called as paricharakam. He's considered as, that is called as paricharaka vritti. That is different. This is parichara, not paricharaka. This is parichara. What is parichara? See, paritaha means thoroughly, completely, 360 degrees. Apana vithi pravatikadu apahara buddhya charanashila. He who has only one thing in mind. Both of them, both Nicheru and Parichara, they have only one thing in mind. What is that? How do I steal? That is the thing that they have in mind. One roams around in the master's house, another one roams around the street. He's not stealing, he's just roaming around, planning, thinking. He is called as Parichara. He who roams around the streets and places of business, he is called as Parichara. Namo Nicherave Paricharaya, and then Aranyanam Pataye Namaha. Marge, so those who cross through the forest, those who go through the forest, Dravyapaharena Badhitum, they want to steal all the dravya that we are carrying. Okay. There are certain sets of robbers, stealers, who are always ready, tatparaha, who are always ready to steal away the things that we are carrying. They are called as aranyaha, tesham palakaya, aranyanam pataye namaha. He is the adhipati of such aranyas, such choras. Okay, brilliant. Then we move on to the next one. Namasrika vibhyaha. Okay. Srikavi. Srika means Vajra. Srika, the meaning of the word Srika is Vajra. Srika Shabdo Vajravachi. Tena Swashariram Avanti Rakshanti iti Srikavinaha. Those who protect themselves by holding, by wielding a Vajra Yudha, by wielding a weapon, are called as Srikavin. Srikavibhyaha is Bahuvachanam, is the plural form. Srikavine, Srikavibhyam, Srikavibhyaha. That's how Shabda goes. Namasrikavibhyaha. Then Praninaha hantumicchantaschoraha jigham sadbhyaha jighagum sadbhyaha. That is how we usually chant, isn't it? Namasrikavibhyo jighagum sadbhyaha jighagum sadbhyaha. But the actual word is jigham sadbhyaha. Jighamsa means the desire to kill someone is called as jighamsa. The desire to hurt someone is called as jighamsa. Jighagum sadbhyaha, jigham sadbhyaha means hantumichantaschoraha jighamsantaha. Those who want to kill the animals, those who want to kill people, those who want to kill creatures, to put it in one bracket, those who want to kill creatures are called as, that type of choras are called as jigham santaha. Jighagum sadbhyo namaha. This must be very, very crazy, isn't it? One cannot wait that when will all these things, and we thought that Rudradhyaya is all about praising Rudra, but what is this? It's only violence, pure violence, 100% violence. Okay. Mushnatam pataye namaha. Krishika santaha. Mushnati. Now you have heard the word mushaka, right? Mushaka. The reason why a rat is called as Mushaka is because, see, the Mushaka doesn't cultivate anything. It doesn't help in farming. But what it does is, after all the dhanya, after all the grains are collected and bagged in a place, that's when these rats enter and steal the finished product. They don't help in the production of the product, but they steal the finished product. That is the nature of mushnati. That is, mushnanam means that is what is mushnanam. So without having contributed anything solid to the production, but only stealing the end product, they are called as mushnantaha. Tesham pataye namaha, mushnatam pataye namaha, tesham palakaya namaha. Okay. Then, namo asimadbhyah, naktancharadbhyah, praklantanam or prakrantanam pataye namaha. Okay. Asimadbhyah, asi means khadga, sword. Asimadbhyah, those who carry a sword. Namo asimadbhyah. Most simple amongst all the mantras is this one. Very easy to understand. Naktam charadbhyah. Naktam means ratri. Okay. So ratrin charadbhyah means those who move around during the night. The night movers. Okay. The night devils, basically. Ratrau charantaha. Nirgatan pranino badhamanaha choraha naktancharantaha. Sayanacharya makes a very interesting observation. Nirgatan praninaha. Those who have lost their life. Okay. Badhamanaha. They actually create an obstacle to those kind of creatures who have lost their prana. I mean, from the body. They have left the body, but they are yet to find another body. In that time, they actually capture them and they torture them. Torture in the sense, they interrogate them. Those are called as Naktancharadbhya. Basically, that's what Rakshasas are known to be interested with the job. So, Namo Asimadbhya Naktancharadbhya, and then Prakrantanam Pataye Namaha. Hatvaiva Apaharantah Prakrantaha. This is brilliant. Hatvaiva Apaharantah. Now, back in those days, during the Naxal period, this is a story that I have heard. There used to be a gang whom if you encounter, whom you saw, you would surrender. Okay, you would say that you please take whatever I have, please don't hurt me, and still they would not take your belongings. They would take your belongings after beating you only. Even if you have surrendered, they will beat you, because it's their dharma, because they feel that you should not steal anything without beating them. Ravana was one such person. I don't want to give that example, but yeah. So that is prakranta. Those people who take only by beating others. They are called as prakranta. So prakrantanam pataye namaha is the adhipati of those prakrantas. And then namaha ushnishine. Ushnisha means shiroveshtanam, the turban that we usually have on the head. It's not only in one parampara, not only subjected to Sikhs that we see that the turban is mandatory for them. It's a good thing that it has been made mandatory for them. That shiroveshtanam is mandatory for all classes. Once upon a time, that is how it was. We have seen, you see, even to this day in the southern tradition, South Indian tradition, only during the marriage, they don't place the groom bareheaded. They put one peta. They put one ushnisham. That is Mysuru peta, because it became famous during the reign of Vodayars. That every single court member, they were mandated to wear something on their head, because it's important. Covering the head is important. Okay, you see different types of traditions, and in Kerala, if you go, you will find that they will always be holding a chhatra, an umbrella. The head must be protected at all times. So therefore, Ushnisha is that which we bind on the head. Namaha Ushnishane Giricharaya. Giricharaha means those who. Okay, this is one meaning. The second meaning, Sayanacharya's meaning. Sayanacharya is an expert in this. Sayanacharya writes, see, Shiro Veshtana Veshtanavan Ushnishi Yo Grama Janavat Ushnishena Shiro Veshtayitva Tanmadhe Pravishya Vartamanascha Varha Ushnishi. So not only will they bind the ushnisha, bind the headgear, but they enter into that place where people have, have got their headgear and they steal. They are called as ushnisha. Those who steal by wearing a headgear, they are called as ushnishi, nama ushnishne. And then giricharaya. Girichara means, girau in the forests, kashtadi sampadakana, vastradikam apahartum charati. So when people go to forests to collect wooden logs, okay, so they would keep their vastra and everything. They would keep their clothes and everything. There are some people who steal their clothes as well. They are called as giricharaya. Okay. And then the next word is very, very brilliant. Very beautiful word. Kulunchanam pataye namaha. Kuluncha. The word kuluncha is used. Ku means prithvi. Ku means bhumi. Lunchanti. Kum lunchanti iti kulunchaha. Those who steal the land, those who grab land illegally, they are called as kulunchaha. DKC kind of people. Only Karnataka people will get this joke, nobody else will. Kulunchana pataye. Those who grab land. Okay. Kum lunchanti iti kulunchaha. Kum prithivim lunchanti. Lunchanti means, those who steal. Okay, then Namaha Ishumadbhyaha. Ishumadbhyaha. Ishu means, the arrows. Banadharina. Ishumadbhyaha, those who carry arrows at all times. Dhanva vibhyascha, those who carry dhanus as well. Nama Ishumadbhyo Dhanva vibhyascha vo namaha. From here onwards, you will find only two. Nama Ishumadbhyaha Dhanva vibhyascha vo namaha. And it is addressed directly to those Rudras. Vo namaha. And especially if you are doing the Trishati, okay, if you have done Rudra Trishati and all, you will observe that Nama Ishumadbhyaha Dhanva vibhyascha Namaha Vo Namaha. People will not understand what is Vo Namaha. Shouldn't it be Vom Namaha? No, Vo Namaha is correct. Vaha means Yushman or Yushmakam, Yushmabhyam. You remember Chaturthi Vibhakti. Tubhyam te yuvabhyam vam yushmabhyam vaha. Yushmad Shabda, Chaturthi Vibhakti, Bahuvachanam. Yushmabhyam namaha. Vo namaha. Namaskaras to you. So the Pratyakshikaranam of Rudra Swarupa has happened there. Therefore, Vo namaha. Nama Ishumadbhyaha. Dhanva vibhyascha namaha. Vo namaha. So next time you will not forget this. Vo namaha means, it has a meaning. Okay. Namaskaras to you is what it means. Vo namaha. Then Nama atanvanebhyaha. Pratyakshakrita mantraha is how Bhattavaskara writes it. Pratyakshakrita means you are witnessing it directly. Therefore, Vo namaha. Then Namaha atanvanebhyaha. Atanvanebhyaha means Dhanushi ujjam aropayantaha. So those who are tying the thread in the dhanus, they are called as atanvanaha. Okay, those who are tying the thread. In the first mantra, in the previous mantra, we saw those who have an arrow, those who have the bow. We did namaskaras to them. Now those who are tying the bow, nama atanvanebhyaha, and then pratidadhanebhyaha. Pratidadhanebhyaha, those who have tied the bow and are ready holding the bow. So look at the process. Namaha Ishumadbhyaha Dhanva Vibhyascha Namaha. We have it in possession, but we are not using it. Then I'm preparing it. Atanvanebhyah and then pratidadhanebhyah. And then comes Namaha Ayachadbhyah. Ayachadbhyah is Jya Vikarshanam Kurvatah. Those who actually have, taken the thread until their karna, until their ear. Okay, that is Akarshanam. Nama Ayachadbhyah. And then what will be the next one? Visrijadbhyascha Namaha. Visrijadbhyah, those who release the arrow. So, starting from those who possess to those who release, look at the process. Okay. Nama ishumadbhyo dhanva vibhyascha namo nama atanva nebhyah pratidadha nebhyascha namo nama ayachadbhyo visrajadbhyascha namo. Then namo asyadbhyah. Oh, this is brilliant. Muktasya banasya lakshya paryantam gamanam asanam. So the process of the arrow reaching the target is called as asanam. Those who release the bana, those who release the arrow and ensure that the arrow reaches the target, those who are ensuring that the arrow reaches the target, they are called as asyadbhyah, asyantah, tebhyah, asyadbhyo namaha. Fantastic. Nobody could have come up with this kind of detailing. Now, what Dhurandhar peak detailing? This is peak detailing. You see, peak detailing. Namo asyadbhyah. Okay, and then vidyadbhyascha namaha. The next one is vidyadbhyah. Lakshya samipagatasya banasya lakshya pravesha. They have to ensure that the arrow has not only reached the target, it has penetrated the target. Those who ensure the arrow shot by them reaches the target are called as asya vidbhyah. The Rudras that are responsible for ensuring the arrow penetrates the target are called as Vidyadhyascha Namaha. Vo Namaha. To all those Rudras who are present here, Vo Namaha. Okay. Namaha Asinebhyaha. Very simple. Probably the most simple of all these mantras. Asinebhyaha. Asinebhyaha, those who are sat. Shayanebhyaha, those who are sleeping. Very simple to understand. Asinebhyaha, shayanebhyascha vo namaha. And then swapadbhyaha, those who are asleep. Okay. See, shayana means to lie down. Sorry, the proper English I have to use. Shayana means those who are lying down. Asinebhyaha, shayanebhyaha, those who are sitting and those who are lying down. Shayane is swapadbhyaha, jagradbhyaha. Swapadbhyaha, those who are asleep, jagradbhyaha, those who are awake. Namastishthadbhyaha, dhavadbhyascha. Tishtadbhyaha, those who are standing, dhavadbhyaha, those who are running. And lastly, namasabhabhyaha, sabhapatibhyascha vo namaha. This is probably the most famous one. You might have heard this being used by many scholars as well. In the beginning of their talk, Namasabhabhyas Sabhapatibhyascha Namaha. Yeah, Sabhabhyah, Sabha is Sanghi Bhuya Asinebhyah. Those who have assembled, the assembly is called as Sabha. Where people have assembled, that place is called as Sabha. So to all those who have assembled, we do that namaskara, that Rudra Shakti, that Paramatma Shakti that has brought everybody together. That is Sabha Shakti. So Namas Sabhabhyah and Sabhapatibhyascha Namaha. The one who presides over the entire communion is called as Sabhapati. Sabhapatibhyascha Namaha. And lastly, Namo Ashvebhyaha Ashvapatibhyascha Namaha. Okay, Ashvebhyaha, very famous. Ashva, the horse. Ashvapati, the one who is the owner of horse. That is the meaning. Okay. Kechidahu. Na vidyate swam yesham te asvaha ashvaha. Asvaha itself has become Ashvaha. We make fun of people, especially Biharis, who can't actually pronounce Ashva. They will end up saying Asva, and we make fun of them. Okay. You look at here, and it doesn't mean that you should stop making fun of them. make bindas fun of them, because that's a different point. Because they are wrong. They are not speaking in this sense. They are speaking in an apabhramsha, so that's a different thing. So those who do not possess any sort of wealth with them, they are called as aswaha. Swa means wealth. Na vidyate swam yeshante aswaha. Aswaha itself has become ashvaha. And then nishparigrahebhyaha ityartha. Nishparigrahebhya means those who do not take anything. Parigraha means to receive. Those who do not receive anything at all, they are called as nishparigrahas. Basically, sannyasins. There are certain vratas that sannyasins do where they don't take anything at all. There are certain tapasya where nishparigraha is at its highest peak. Okay. Ashwapatibhyashchavo namaha. Ashwadhyaksha, or those Mahashrimadbhyo va, those who are absolutely rich. Mahashrimadbhya, not just rich. I'm not going to say filthy rich, absolutely rich, like, fundamentally rich. They are called as Ashwapatibhya, because they also don't seek anything from anybody. Everything is there with them. Why would they seek anything? They are also practicing nishparigraha in a certain way. Okay, so namo ashvebhyah ashvapatibhyascha vo namaha. Sarvaivaite devasya anucharaha devasyaiva va leela vigraha visheshaha. Bhattabhaskara at the end writes this brilliant line, which happens to be the Nandi line for us for the next class. I'm not going to tell you how all these things have got a certain meaning. What is the concept of describing Parameshwara as so many different types of chora? Yeah. Stena, steya, taskara, stayu, vanchana, parivanchana. We have not left a single thing. We said all of that is Parameshwara or Paramatma. How? Why? There's a small thing. You see, Devasya Anuchara. All of them are the followers of Paramatma. Devasyaiva va Leela Vigraha Visheshaha. They are nothing but the avatars of Paramatma. They do have that form of Paramatma in them. Okay. They do it for a certain purpose. Okay. Not trying to, what do you call, romanticize stealing. I'm definitely not trying to do that. But however, there is a point behind all these things. Why Parameshwara is called so and so. Why he is Taskaranam Pataye. How he actually does that taskari. How he actually steals. And how many ways are there for Paramatma to ensure that yame vaishavrunute tena labhya. You remember that Kathopanishad. Yame vaishavrunute tena labhya. The Paramatma actually, the Parabrahma actually, very carefully, it comes to us. So when it comes to, it dawns on us, basically, that Atma dawns on us. So if that needs to happen, then there must be a field work that needs to be done, a prior work that has to be put in place. And that for all that prior work, this third Anuvaka is going to help us to understand. So if we do not have anything taken away from us, we will never become humble in life. Simple thing to understand, to chew upon until next week. If everything is with us, we will be, Nane Indra, Nane Chandra, as they say. We will be thinking that I am Indra, I am Chandra. But until and unless something is taken away from us, we will not realize, it will not humble us. And it is a process of humbling that happens. And Rudra does that. Nobody but Parameshwara does that. Nobody else can do that effectively as Parameshwara does. Yasyanugrahamichhami. Bhagavatam. Yasyanugrahamichhami. Tasya vittam haramyam. So the first thing that Paramatma or Bhagavan does is, if anugraha has to be done, then I have to empty some space. So he will steal, he will take away a few things from us. Sometimes he will stay with us and take away. Sometimes he will just come and grab it away. Sometimes he will keep on roaming around. the wonderful experience. You chew on this, you will get the entire third Anuvaka. This is the idea. I do not want to hold it back, so I have already given you. Just think on. There are many things. How else will we understand Vairagyam? Tell me. How else will Vairagyam? And we keep on asking Vairagyam from Vishwanatha. You know, we go to Kashi and we pray to Kashi. It is Mukti Kshetram, it is Moksha Kshetram. We don't have an iota of Vairagyam. And I had this particular dilemma, you know, I had this moral dilemma. I used to quarrel almost with my professor. Such a great Pavitra Kshetram, Tirtha Kshetram, Varanasi, Banaras. And Banaras is not only famous for Vishwanatha temple. You know, Banaras is also famous for its thug. Famous thug means, you know, to steal. Vanchanam. Banaras ki thug is very, very famous. You get duped. If you are in Banaras and if you don't get duped, you are not in Banaras. How many things have we not lost in Banaras? If you go to Banaras and if you have not lost anything, if someone has not cheated you, then you have not been to Banaras properly, because that gives you a valuable lesson. Stenanam pade, no, all those stenas, steyas, taskaras, they are all living happily in Banaras. Because Stenanam pataye namaha, तस्कराणाम पतये नमः, स्थायूनाम पतये नमः, उनको कुछ नहीं होता है, because they are all Shivasya Anucharaha. You don't get to be born in Banaras, you don't get to be born in Shiva Kshetram until you are a Shivagana. Oh, remember that, it's not that easy. It's not that easy. To be born in Tirtha Kshetram, you have to have that kind of job. It comes with a job description. You go and see that simple Panditji. They talk with you so sweetly, so madhuram. They talk with all those humbleness and all, and then 5,000 dijiye, 10,000 dijiye. Taskaranam padaye namaha. Parameshwara does that. So I used to refuse this. I used to fight a lot for all these things. Nowadays I don't. I'm not suggesting that all of you must do this, and please don't take me wrongly. I'm sharing just my personal view. That's all. In a Tirtha Kshetram, if someone asks you for something, just give it. If you come back empty-handed from Tirtha Kshetram, it means you have lost all your papam there. You have given all the papam there. Come back. There's a famous saying in Banaras, आप बनारस से कुछ ले नहीं जा सकते हैं. You're not supposed to take anything away from Banaras. Did you know this? I mean, I don't know how many of you are aware of this. You're not supposed to take anything from Banaras. Not even Ganga Jal. You can take Ganga Jal from whichever other part of Ganges, not in Banaras. Nothing is allowed to be taken away from Banaras. Everything there belongs to Parameshwara. He is the Adhipati, he is the Swami. No? He is the one who is commanding over everything there. You go there, you give up everything, you come back. That is Vairagya Kshetram. We go there and we start thinking, no, I did not get this, I did not get that. The Parama Vairagya Kshetram. This is third Anuvakam for you. I mean, the mindset, how they actually turn. I mean, you now with this mindset, when you actually chant and recall and contemplate upon the meaning, it hits you in a different way. You can do that. I want you to do that as an assignment, because that's the way it actually works. Okay, each and everything. All right, that's it. So we have covered 3 Anuvakas. Nobody can believe it, isn't it? So we will move on to the 4th Anuvaka in the next class. Thank you very much. Namaste. Namaste.
Thank you, sir. So next class, I think same time we'll all meet and we'll all contemplate on what you have taught in the third Anuvaka. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you all. Shubharat.